Benny, how you doing? We're basically finishing up your core right now. And so we've got the shape of your ski, and then we ran the taper, which creates the flex pattern. And then the particular tool that we use creates sometimes a bit of an undulation, so then we do a final finish with the sanding. I'm going to do that right now. We cut your P-Tex, and then we did a P-Tex edge assembly. And essentially what we've done is we've tacked the edge onto the P-Tex, but it's just a tack. It just gets us through the manufacturing process. In a moment you'll see Kristen laying up your ski, and at that time the negative space, the teeth, are engaged with the resin, and the fiberglass gets pushed into that crack, and that creates a negative, or actually a tooth and anchor situation. So all we're doing right here is we're plating the P-Tex onto the cassette. And you've asked for a low profile tip, so what we've done is we've actually went to the next size of cassette. So instead of the roll up, which would have typically started back here, we've actually pushed it out so we get a lower profile tip, and then we'll introduce the rocker at a later station, or a later situation. Also we have zero camber and zero tail rocker. This is unusual for us because typically in an early taper tail, when you early taper something, typically you rocker it. But we've actually seen one other ski that went out like this, and the feedback was it was phenomenal. An early taper tail that didn't rocker, it did engage, but it did drop the tail in the powder. So we're pretty stoked on the design.
So I'm on build deck with your skis. What I've done so far is I've wetted out the bottom layer, which is your P-Tex. We build from the bottom to the top of the ski. So this is wetted out. What Michael was talking about in terms of that edge contact with the P-Tex, resin's in between all that negative space, so those things are really locked on now. Then I put down a couple layers of fiberglass, your core stock, wetted everything out, and what I'm working on now is the tip fill. So where the core terminates and then the ski starts to rise up, we fill this with a 24-ounce fiberglass. So I'm filling that. I'm going to do some extra reinforcement in the joint area, some reinforcement in the under boot section, which creates more torsional stability, and same in the tail, what I'm doing in the tip. After that, I'm going to put down some more fiberglass, your graphics, and then they're going to go in the hot box.
So Benny, your skis have been in the hot box for about 45 minutes, ambient temp, 140 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to go ahead and pull them out. They've been under vacuum constantly. These are the connection valves, they just pop off. So you can see your camber rocker setup. Basically you've got a flat tail going through flat camber, and then you've got a moderate section of tip rocker. So flat to rocker. Like I said, that's unusual for us. Typically we'll run rockers, low camber, maybe rocker, flat camber, and then run some tail rocker. So pretty stoked on your design. We like to see new stuff. So when we lay up the ski, these racks are adjustable, all this section. So depending on what type of camber rocker configuration, we'll moderate these blocks, tip and tail. So on vacuum, which is probably the best way to form a composite, a ski is basically a layered product with various disparate materials, polyethylene-based stock, fiberglass resin saturation core. A lot of companies like Volkl or K2, they're essentially squishing their skis together. Vacuum actually uses atmospheric pressure, but the beauty about vacuum is on your top layer is what's called a peel ply. And it's a perforated, or actually it's a permeable membrane that allows all the excess resin and air to migrate into what we call the bleeder. So you don't have these pockets of excess resin, you have a really contiguous composite, super strong. So if you think about airplane wings, spaceships, anything, everybody's going to vacuum form. The only company or the only industry that squishes stuff is essentially the ski and snowboard industry, and that has more to do with the throwback from the 60s and 70s technology. So this is the leader, and this is the peel pod. Essentially what it is, it's a Teflon coated sheet of fiberglass. And it's one of those products we could reuse. So this is the top side of your ski. And this is your ski. So it's looking super clean. What we're looking for right away is to see if we have any core shift off the P-Tex edge. We don't. It's very rare that we do. So the ski's looking perfect. Nice, excellent. So what will happen next is I'll trim cut the ski after it cools off a bit, about 10 minutes, and we'll use the edge as a guide, and then up here we have pre-inscribed motions right here, so I'll follow that tip grind, tail grind, base grind, sand a bit on the top, clear coat, seal it, and we'll be shipping them. Cool, thanks.